Welcome to Thriving in Love podcast. I'm your host, Sana Akhand, and on this podcast, we encourage our couples to think outside the box to create a unique love story that works for your most authentic selves. And today's episode is near and dear to my heart because it is something that I've never quite talked about yet out loud, but I'm really excited to dive into it because it is basically the essence of everything that I know about love. It is about sacred union. Is marriage sacred? How can our relationships support our spirituality? And do two people need to have the same spiritual beliefs in order to be in sacred union? So I'm really excited to dive into this topic. Let's get started. So the reason this is so near and dear to my heart is because I had a massive spiritual awakening, Kundalini awakening, divine feminine awakening when I lived apart together with my husband. So before living apart, I was stuck in cycles of anxious attachment, codependency, and people pleasing. And I realized that I was an empath and I needed to protect my energy, but I never knew how. And I realized that I had a lot of trauma that was stopping me from stepping into my full power and my full potential. It was until I did psychedelics when I learned that I needed to detach from every person, place, or thing that I was connected to or attached to rather, and learn healthy love. That's actually why we decided to live apart together, because I needed to embark on this divine feminine awakening journey. And my husband was not spiritual at all. He didn't understand what was happening to me. I barely understood what was happening to me. All I knew was that I had a deep inner knowing and an inner feeling that I needed to figure out who I am, detached from my obligations and my roles, and pour my energy into myself. That's how it started. But then when I was living apart and in my own home, in my own space, connecting to my body, doing my nervous system regulation, and learning how to process my emotions, journaling, all the things on my healing journey, I ended up triggering an awakening, which was probably my third or fourth one at this time. This one was like a really big one though, because it opened up my throat chakra, my third eye, and my crown chakra. These are the feminine chakras that are within every single human. You can't really activate those. Like, a lot of people are connected to their intuition naturally, but many people are not, because they are still stuck in survival mode and they aren't able to break free, finding that security, which is why, so like if you're not feeling safe in your body, which is what I did with the nervous system regulation, if you don't feel safe in your own body, you will not be able to go through the Kundalini awakening process. So first and foremost, it's not just talk therapy where you become aware of your traumas and your triggers, which I did before living apart together. When I lived apart together, I actually prioritized my mental health and my wellness. So I wasn't eating as much meat, I wasn't drinking as much alcohol. I tried to really eliminate alcohol while I was processing my emotions, because alcohol would trigger a lot of negative emotions within me. I didn't give it up completely. Every weekend I was still having a drink with my husband. Like, we were still living in New York and going on date nights and everything. But during the week, Monday to Friday, I was really prioritizing just connecting with my spirit and healing my soul. Let me backtrack a little bit and talk about what all of this means. When you are an empath or a highly sensitive soul or a creative soul, you actually go on a love journey while you're here on earth in order to step into your full potential, to get into flow. So you can't get into flow if you have a lot of blockages within your chakras or an imbalance of chakras. That's the entire purpose of us being on earth, which is to learn our lessons, cleanse our karma, clear our vessel so that we can co-create with source and birth all of the creations that we're here to birth. And that's why you so deeply feel like you're here for a bigger purpose. You are not stepping into your full potential, and there is a bigger calling that is calling you, and you are having a hard time finding it. Most likely it's because you are here as a creative soul or a highly sensitive soul to alchemize the negative energies into a beautiful creation, turning your pain into purpose, sharing your wisdom, all these things like creating music, art from your pain, and connecting with other humans on a deeper level. If you do feel like you are here for a bigger purpose than yourself, you're always going to feel unfulfilled living a normal life. And it sucks because for so long, I so desperately just wanted to be normal and just fit in with my friends and just like enjoy easy conversations. But there was something inside of me that just like craved a deeper connection. Even in my marriage, I wished so badly that I could just like receive his love the way he was giving it to me. But unfortunately, my soul was craving a love that was just much deeper, that transcended physical love into a spiritual one. I wasn't able to articulate any of this. I didn't even know any of this. I just like was so confused why I just didn't fit in life, in around my friends, in my family, in my connection with my husband for the longest time, until I lived apart together. And it wasn't like, oh, I'm gonna go live apart together and activate my soul. It truly was just a strong, intuitive feeling that I needed to live alone. And I didn't understand it at the time, but I'm so glad that I listened to it, because that is what activated my big spiritual awakening, my divine feminine awakening, and healed my codependency and my anxious attachment style, my abandonment wounds. I broke generational curses. During that 8 months, I went into such a deep healing journey. And I think that's why my story went viral. Like, I was manifesting recognition and fame and this and that, and I was receiving it, and I got everything that I was asking for. And it was the strangest thing, because before that I never even believed in manifestation. I never believed in anything. Like, I truly was never that religious. I always knew there was a higher power, but I was not interested in like learning more. I just wanted to live my life. But what happens is, when you are a creative, highly sensitive soul and your purpose here is to unlock love, you will not be happy in anything less than love. I was stepping into my full heart space. You can't really activate your heart space until you heal your masculine chakras and your feminine chakras, and then that is what activates your heart space. So basically what was happening was, before I lived apart together, I was learning how to process my emotions, journaling, and stepping into my confidence. And then when I lived apart together, that is when I was able to feel really safe and secure in my body and do the nervous system healing and open up my feminine chakras. And then that's when my husband and I did a lot of work together to step into conscious partnership and emotional intelligence, and having the really tough, hard conversations to step into honesty and vulnerability, and just speaking our truth and speaking our piece, and expanding our consciousness to allow for two different realities to coexist, because I was on a completely different path than he was. He was not into the spiritual journey the way I was, but my soul was being activated in the 5D, which is a mindset. So 3D, 5D shifts, you may have heard of it. The biggest difference is 3D believes in power, success, and things like that, and 5D believes in love, unity, and peace. He also, I realized, didn't fully activate his heart chakra until I did. That's when I realized how connected our souls are to each other, even when we're not physically together. So that's why it's so cool to talk about this, because living apart together actually made us stronger together, because it transcended physical connection into a mental, emotional, spiritual connection, which is a mind, body, soul connection. That's how you activate divine union, sacred union, which is by detaching in the physical and learning how to connect with their energy rather than their physical vessel. The journey of a highly sensitive soul is to get to a place of self-worth, so that you stop attracting avoidant men and you start to attract your secure masculine man. And you're able to tell the difference, because the secure man is going to feel different, is going to feel like the glitch in the matrix that is just different than what everybody else around likes or enjoys. You're going to feel it to your core that this person is unique and different than any other person you've ever been with. And that's going to pique your interest when you're ready for it. But when you're not ready for it and you still have a lot of wounds to heal, this energy, you're going to be repelled by it because you're going to see it as boring, or, you're going to be craving that external validation in your partnership of things. Not to say that that's good or bad or right or wrong. Everyone's journey is so incredibly unique, and you're allowed to just want what you want. And if that's like material possessions, and that's, you want them to purchase flights for you and wine and dine you, chase that you enjoy, that's your prerogative. Good for you. Like, enjoy that. I was at a place in my life where I was craving stability and security and peace because I've had a very traumatic upbringing and a lot of childhood trauma. So when I met my husband, Adnan, for the first time, I truly felt like I was home for the first time in my entire life. I felt safe in his arms, and it was a very unknown, different feeling. What happens in that situation when you don't know love your whole life and it's the one thing that you want in your entire life and you finally get it, you do become codependent and you do become attached because you are operating from a lot of wounds subconsciously that you're not aware of. That's why a lot of people, if you're an anxious attachment style trying to go for an avoidant attachment style, then that dynamic is never going to feel fulfilling. But if you're an avoidant attachment style and you find that securely attached partner who can just create a really good safe space for you, that dynamic can be absolutely incredible until it's time for you to heal your anxious attachment into a secure attachment. That's what happened with us. He really was the most incredible partner for me to tackle my childhood trauma. And then I got to a point where I felt really good and comfortable in my skin. And then it was time for my next evolution, which was to heal my codependency. And then since that time, when we came back together and lived together again, we had a really long integration process that we had to learn how to merge our two worlds and learn how to live in peace and harmony while having so much respect for each other's beliefs, because we do not have the same beliefs. He does not believe in spirituality the way I do. He respects every single thing that I have gone through and that I do and say, and he believes me and believes my truth, but he doesn't hold that to be true for himself. And I don't know other couples or what goes on in other people's worlds, but with us, this was a huge blessing for me because it actually forced me to expand my heart more than I've ever thought possible, because I had to get out of control and knowing all the answers and figuring it all out and learn that my reality is my reality, my journey is my journey, his reality is his reality, his journey is his journey, and we are choosing to do life together rather than the whole soulmate connection being like, oh, we're in sacred union, we have to be together, this is it, blah, blah, blah. I think it actually freed me from attachment and encouraged me to learn healthy love and choose conscious partnership and understand that even if I believe he's my soulmate or my divine counterpart, I still get to choose who I put that energy into. Like, as a woman, as a divine feminine, when you activate your inner masculine and your inner feminine and activate your heart chakra and have so much self-love and harmony and balance and union within your own soul, you actually are able to be a fully functioning human being that can choose your partners. So what that means is every time my husband and I get into like an argument or a fight, obviously there's times where I'm like, oh my gosh, maybe we're not meant to be together and we need to get out of this relationship because I'm not feeling happy or fulfilled. In reality, that's where the work is. In order to go even deeper into your own inner healing, process your emotions, see where that trigger's coming from, and understand that the role of a divine counterpart, even though you choose them, is to trigger you. So all of the relationships that you have in your life are going to trigger you. So that's why it's so incredibly important to set healthy boundaries. Make sure you enjoy the people and you trust the people that you surround yourself with. If you surround yourself with people who you don't feel safe with and they trigger you, it's going to be incredibly hard for you to be emotionally intelligent, to understand that you're being triggered and invited deeper into your own healing journey. So I read this thing and it really resonated with everything that I'm talking about here. And it says, our partnerships can become vessels of spiritual awakening, serving as mirrors that reflect our true selves and catalysts for personal and collective transformation. Through love, we learn the power of compassion, forgiveness, and empathy, essential elements of a vibrant spiritual journey. That's exactly what happened with me in my marriage, where I used to be an easily triggered, easily irritable, just like person who knew I had a good heart, but I had so many wounds on my heart. My marriage, my relationship has been the biggest catalyst for my healing journey. That's how I know to the core of who I am that marriage is sacred. Whether you guys have the same spiritual beliefs or not, it's going to trigger your spiritual awakening journey. You can't judge your partner for their journey or where their path is. You can only encourage and support them and hold space for them to discover their own journey on their own timeline. Just focus on your own path, your own journey, and remember that the whole point of being in a committed, monogamous, beautiful relationship is to have fun together and let your inner child feel safe to express themselves freely and chase your dreams and encourage each other to chase your dreams, even if you're scared that they may fail. Like, let them learn on their own, let them grow on their own. Don't try to mother them, because that's going to kill your intimacy. And if you really want a partnership where you guys are healing, growing, evolving together, all you can do is focus on your own mental, emotional, and spiritual journey and let them focus on their own and choose to have fun in the physical. Once you do that, you can enjoy the mental connection, the emotional connection, the spiritual connection, because you're going to continue to be expanded because you respect their mind, body, soul, and they respect your mind, body, soul. So I hope that this podcast wasn't too long or too confusing, and I hope it makes sense. I feel like I was rambling. I made a list of people that I want to bring on to this podcast as guests so that it's not just me talking to you guys. So stay tuned for a few of those people. You know, spirituality looks different for every single person. What it looks like for me may be completely different than what it looks like for you. This is just my journey and my truth, and I'm just sharing it with you guys in case it resonates. And take what resonates and leave the rest. Please know that I support you in your journey and your evolution. However it looks, whether it looks like mine or completely different, you are valid and your feelings are valid. Your spiritual journey is valid. And I hope that you are just flourishing in love, thriving in love, no matter what your journey looks like. I hope that you reflect on your own spiritual journeys and see how maybe your past relationships have helped you learn and grow and evolve as a human. If you are ready to call in your divine counterpart, you understand that the whole point is not to be attached, rather connected through conscious partnership. Thank you so much for joining me today on Thriving in Love. I hope that this exploration of sacred union piqued your interest. And if you have any questions or if you have any input or you want to share your journey, please email me, hit like and subscribe, follow me on Spotify. It really, really helps with my confidence and my metrics. Until next time, keep thriving in love.